Hello everyone, I'm George from Ireland. Well, thanks for coming back to my channel. This is about Hurricane Melissa. So the hurricane has hit Jamaica and it is the strongest hurricane of all time. It's claimed a lot of lives already. So the winds have been over 175 miles an hour. That's about 190 kilometers per hour. That is a category 5 storm. It's important to note there is no category 6. This is the highest. So it was a very intense hurricane hitting starting on Tuesday. Where are we now? Thursday. It's also impacted Haiti, the Dominican Republic, which both share the island of Hispaniola, as in Haiti's the western third, the Dominican Republic is the eastern 2/3, and they're a bit south and east of Jamaica. So anyway, it's actually going quite slowly, despite being very puissant and bringing with it extraordinarily heavy rains. It's likely the inundation is going to cause landslides. Some people will be drowned. It's very difficult for rescuers to get to places because roads are underwater, bridges are underwater, things like that. Conditions get very, very muddy. If people need to call an ambulance, if they need a fire brigade, and so on. Now you think there won't be many fires now because of the rain, and it'll douse things. But ironically, it actually can cause fires. And obviously, electricity can get into the water is also very, very dangerous. So the first hurricane they were able to record on a proper scale was 1851. So here we are now 174 years on, and this is the strongest ever. So that's why there's a state of emergency in Jamaica. So the Ministry of Health and Wellness told people to take precautions. Anyway, so it's extraordinary. Now, if you're in the eye of the storm, you're all right, but outside the winds are swirling. I'm no meteorologist, but it's really is this rotating, like, how to call it, wall of wind, for better or better word, that's moving across and leaving devastation in its wake. So there'll be flash flooding and so forth. So, okay. Don't go out if it is suddenly tranquil, because you're in the eye of the storm will hit you. So to stay in, stay low. Obviously, you should have stocked up on water because, water might be cut off, electricity might be cut off, to charge everything, to have non-perishable foods, things like that, just to shelter. So there were over 100 centimeters of rain in some parts of Jamaica, in just 3 days. So anyway, it was really extraordinary. There are lots of shelters people can go into if they don't have a place to live, if they're homeless or whatever, or they can't make it on time. So there were some aircraft which were actually taking readings from it and so on. Not an ideal time to be there. So Jamaica, hurricane season's August to October, I've got that right. So right at the end of October. Now, some years there are no hurricanes. I don't know if you can have 2 in 1 year, but and then sometimes a hurricane, but it might be a mild one. Anyway, so the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, had people evacuate from several areas. So, and the evacuation orders have been issued in some places. So obviously schools and so on were closed. School buses were used to transport people to shelters who didn't have their own transport. A lot of people don't have what was I going to say? Have cars. But in nearby countries like the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos Islands are also impacted. So that's it. And yes, it's been destructive. You can see, people walking through streets up to their waist in water and things like that. It's going to ruin a lot of crops. It's not really going to affect tourism, as there's not that much tourism right at the end now. Some British holiday makers on half-term holidays, they were unlucky. They picked a bad week to do it. And so that is the hurricane. I remember Hurricane Hugo in the early 90s, and some people were living in rather rude houses that weren't firmly, how to put it, had enough firm foundations and could be ripped off. And I've seen things. I've been in Belize when there was a hurricane and got as far inland as possible. You can feel it coming. This is one very, very stormy night. Had to stay in my chalet. But then driving through Belize later on, saw an HSBC ATM machine had been thrown across the road by the ferocious might of the storm. So that is a little bit about the Jamaican hurricane.